This week's show brought to you by SCAD, Scott Countyans Against Drugs. Welcome everybody to the Scott County Cardinals News Graphic Coaches Show, Football Week 9 and Week 4 of the district schedule. As Scott County has had a tough go of it the past couple of weeks. If you've been following things, lost to Henry Clay, lost to Frederick Douglass. The first one may have surprised some people around the state. The second one, I think Douglass was probably the favorite at home, undefeated, having rolled through most of its competition this year, all of its competition this year, really, against a Scott County team that was a little bit banged up, a little bit shorthanded going into that. And by all rights, the Cards played well in that game. It was a 14-7 contest early in the fourth quarter. Scott County driving to what could have been a tying, maybe even go-ahead touchdown if they chose to go for two. Instead, they fumbled at the 5-yard line. Douglass recovered a couple of third down plays where the Cards could have stopped the Broncos after that. One, a diving catch by DeMarco Fishback, and then the second one, a catch and run by Hayden Hunt, 77 yards for the deciding touchdown and a 28-10 victory as Frederick Douglass improves to 8-0, beats Scott County for the first time, and really gets the upper hand as you're looking toward home field advantage in the district standings. Now they will play Henry Clay for the right to be the top seed out of the 7th district, and this really puts Scott County at number 3, which probably means a road game, definitely means a road game. It's just a matter of who, whether it will be Simon Kenton, Campbell County. A lot of things have to be sorted out there as the 7th district is paired with the 6th district this year. But it's going to be a different road going into the postseason for the Cardinals as they now look to build some momentum for that, and they've got a good chance to do so these next couple of weeks, both at home. First off, homecoming in the final district game against Paul Lawrence Dunbar. It's an opponent Scott County has defeated 12 times in a row. You have to go back to 2005 in both the regular season and the playoffs. Close games won by Dunbar that year, but since 2006, every game has been a blowout in Scott County's favor for the most part. And it's a 12-game winning streak now. Of course, they had a 10-game winning streak over Henry Clay, but a little different situation. I think Dunbar is certainly in a much more of a building process. Another new coach for the Bulldogs this year, Wes Johnson. He's the 3rd different coach in 4 years. And the 10th different coach since Jim McKee took over Scott County 22 years ago. And there's something to be said for that continuity. Even in a year that maybe hasn't gone as well as Scott County would have hoped to this point, you know what you're going to get out of the Cardinals. It's hard-nosed football. The feeder system runs the same system that the high school program does. There's just like a snowball effect from year in and year out that contributes to Scott County being successful, that a program like Dunbar, with all the changes it's made, just hasn't been able to replicate over the past dozen years or so. So this is a spot where SC should be able to get well, should be able to put some points on the board, should be able to play well defensively, kind of pin back its ears and go after Dunbar a little bit, as Dunbar lost 41-9 last week to Henry Clay, and just really not playing teams of the same caliber for the most part that Scott County is. After that, Pleasure Ridge Park at home next week, then the bye week, and then we'll be going into the playoff season, where basically Scott County right now trying to get well, trying to get all the pieces in place, try to build some momentum, and they've got time to figure some things out. I mean, going up against Douglass, really defensively they were in a bad spot without Sam Daniel. Now he's done for the year, but they did some nice things. Intercepted a couple of passes in that game, kind of sold out to the pass a little bit, and that maybe allowed Fishback to run the ball more than some teams have run against the Cardinals this year. But they've got some time to game plan, some time to watch film, some time to dissect some things and come up with what will be the best plan for November. And November ready is the motto, as always, at Scott County. That's when they plan to be prepared to make another run. We talked with Coach McKee about all those issues, about the things that have gone on the past couple of weeks, but maybe how that has got the team hungry for what lies ahead. Let's see what Coach McKee had to say about Dunbar and the challenges that await over the remainder of the season.
The team chanted 1-0 when it broke the huddle at practice this week, and Coach said that attention to detail has always been part of his philosophy.
Something that I've always believed in and preached on is to try to put our team, have our team as healthy as they can be, and playing as well as they played all year when we get to the playoffs. And another thing that I've harped on, and just some people would say, "Oh man, that's a bad thought process." You know, my goal each year is never to be state champs, because if that were the goal, there are a lot of years when Trinity has been 5 to 7 touchdowns better than anybody in the state, or St. X. And so, like 2011, for example, those guys, a lot of them are in town, and we were 14-1. We lost to Trinity in the state finals by a running clock. Well, I would never want those guys on that team, or those coaches that dedicated those 4 months to that program, to think that that season was a disappointment. You know, I mean, do I wish we weren't 5-3? Sure. Am I disappointed in the season? No, absolutely not. You know, the kids have worked extremely hard, and we fought through the adversity that we've had, and our goal is to play our best game this Friday.
McKee admitted that even he may have overlooked Henry Clay, but he was proud of everyone's effort against Frederick Douglass.
I think it's a good lesson for me. And ultimately, you know, the performance of the team, whether positively or negatively, is a reflection on me and ultimately my responsibility. I was not disappointed in our guys' effort at all Friday night. No. I thought our guys absolutely played their tails off. And, you know, they've got 7 Division I commits, 5 on their offense, and we've got 1. So, you know, our guys, I couldn't have been any more pleased with how they played. Now, we've got to be a little tougher and finish drives.
Dunbar's many coaching changes have slowed the program's progress, but the Bulldogs have shown positive signs this season.
And they were pretty good in 2001. I mean, if you look back.
Oh, man, they're real good. Yeah, they're real good. And Coach Johnson's doing an excellent job this year. He's an excellent football coach. I believe he'll be a long-term hire for him. They beat Lafayette. They got their first city win in several years, like maybe 2 or 3. I'm not sure it runs together, but, you know, so we're really looking forward to playing on Friday.
All right, that was Coach McKee, and he's been here before. This is not the first time that Scott County has lost back-to-back games, or even 3 games in a season. You have to go back a little ways to 2010, where they had back-to-back losses like that against Kentucky opponents. But not the first time he's had to deal with some adversity, and he'll get these guys ready as they go into these last 2 weeks of the regular season and beyond. We talked to some of the players, gave them the week off last week for fall break, and they probably enjoyed the respite from us, but we talked to a couple of players about what they expect as far as trying to get back on track against Dunbar this week. Let's see what the players had to say.
Brian Hudson and Christian Carter both said the Cards have done a good job refocusing on the task at hand this week.
Well, I mean, it is important to us, every week, every day, we want to come in and get better, go 1-0. And, that is kind of what we've been living by every day at practice, just come in and get better, worry about ourselves first. And so, yeah, I mean, we just want to get back on track. We're just pushing harder than, every day we're pushing harder than the last. So it's just pushing to get better every day. So it's been important to us.
Every week we like to reset our clock and kind of get back into things. We don't want to go into each week, reminiscing about the last week. We like to start over and get things going again.
Scott County executed many areas of its game plan successfully against Frederick Douglass.
We played really hard. We came together as a team pretty well. Offensively, we just need to finish drives and keep pushing each other, and getting better condition. Just get better as a whole. But I was pretty pleased with as a team we played really hard, and I look for that to get better week by week.
We come in prepared, and sometimes teams come out in different sets, but we try to come prepared for every formation they have. And sometimes they come out in a little bit different sets, do a little bit different things, so we just have to adjust on the fly.
The Cards hope to build momentum these final 2 weeks as they move into the postseason.
I mean, like I said, we're just keep pushing, especially as a senior class. We're, taking that leadership role, bringing the team together because, it's crunch time, and, week by week, here soon it's going to be, win or go home. So we're just trying to do everything we can and keep pushing each other.
Yeah, we really think these next 2 weeks, especially this week, we can really get our swag back and keep moving as a team and going forward.
Even though they've won 12 consecutive games in the series against Dunbar, the Cards are not overlooking this game.
We're not taking any team for granted at all, coming in every day, pushing harder and harder, just, worrying about ourselves, like I said, first, and, just trying to go 1-0. So this week's important, and, we just got to get it done.
Our defense, we get better every week. We learn new things about ourselves, and I think come postseason time, you'll see why we're still the #1 defense in the state.